It is time. I think my laundry space is finished and it feels surreal. You guys know that we have been working on this basement for 4 years. 2019, we started working down here. I'm emotional a little bit, but I'm so excited to share it with you guys. I know you almost already saw all of it in my styling video, but I was unsure of a lot of things in that video. It's always sort of scary when I style in front of you guys because I know that works well on YouTube and people like to see that, but sometimes I'm like, people are watching. It's like high pressure, and I generally enjoy decorating alone. Just getting into the zone, listening to music. Not that this space truly matters a whole lot. It's my laundry space. I have 4 little boys. Of course it's gonna be covered in piles of laundry here soon, and muddy boots, I'm sure, as we enter into spring weather here in Michigan. But it was fun putting this space together and just having a whole new room to decorate with you guys, and so I want to talk about it with you. There's a lot that I want to cover. Doing laundry is so much fun now. I hated coming down here before. It was scary, and now it just feels like warm and cozy and beautiful. So I'm so thankful for my husband who worked his tail off making this space beautiful. Okay, so first things first, let me just say that if you have a dark, scary basement with low ceilings and you feel like you just can't quite imagine it finished because it's just so funky, I am here to provide hope for you, because that is exactly what our basement looked like. We had some funky stuff to work around. Very low ceilings, as you can tell. Low pipes that hung down, and like the furnace pipes were really low, but we just worked around those and we came up with this idea to beadboard the walls. So this entire space we used beadboard on the ceilings, we used beadboard on the walls. My husband built out the walls, like there were pipes running along the walls down here, but he built out the walls in order to hide those pipes. But I want to start with like the sink and laundry washer dryer area first, because that was the hardest area to work around. We have a sump pump under there, which is why you see the raised step that my husband built. It's closer, you can see how deep the window well is right above the sink, and that's how much space he had to allow for that sump pump situation so he could still have access to it easily. It's a long story and it's hard to explain unless you actually crawl under the sink and look at it, but we just had to get super creative and figure out a way to hide all of the weird plumbing that was hanging down, still have access to the sump pump, but yet make the basement look finished and beautiful. So we dropped the ceiling, you can see that behind me, we dropped the ceiling to hide some of the funky plumbing, moved the washer and dryer next to each other. So the sink, first of all, I want to talk about the sink. The sink we ended up going with, originally I was going to use like a vintage wash tub for the sink, but it just wasn't working out. The plumbing wasn't working out. It was super cool, and I've shared it with you guys. I'm probably gonna use it outside in my garden area for something. So we ended up working with Vintage Tub and Bath. This is the same company that sent me our sink upstairs in our kitchen, the high back sink, that beautiful high back sink that looks vintage, but it's actually brand new. So hence their name, Vintage Tub and Bath. I love the fact that this company sort of replicates and recreates vintage inspired sinks and tubs and hardware that is new but made to look old. And so we went through them again and we worked with them, and they sent us this beautiful 35-inch fire clay reversible apron farmhouse utility sink. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's nice and big for this area. We don't actually have the water hooked up yet. My husband's gonna do all of that at the same time once we get the bathroom finished. But it just turned out absolutely beautiful, and it was actually very simple to install. I kind of talked about this in my last video, but he basically just had to cut out an area. And if you want to learn more about the countertops, I talked a lot about them in my basement styling post, the material we used, and then how we finished them off to make them look nice, and of course the stain we used. But then he created this like stand for the sink out of 2 legs that, or 4 legs, I'm sorry, but the 2 front legs being decorative. I believe we grabbed those at Menards. I think that's like a northern store, but it's basically a home improvement store. Let me know in the comments if you have a Menards near you. And then he cut out some wood to match the bottom of our pine hutch, and we traced it all out, and he created this beautiful stand for the sink. So it was very simple to install. If you have basic carpentry skills, you could build something similar to this. And so then, of course, you have the option of leaving it open underneath so you can see all the hardware, or closing it off. Now, I had a lot of people tell me that they loved seeing the open, seeing the sink open underneath. I love it too, but since the water isn't actually hooked up yet, the pipe is just sort of hanging there. So for this video, I ended up hanging some fabric, and I'll talk about that fabric in a second. But overall, we just love the way this sink looks. I cannot wait to actually be using it. There are so many things in your laundry space, like stains that you want to work out, or even just like having this area as like a utility area where, I come in from gardening and I've got muddy hands. This is a great space to be able to scrub those fingernails, and I just love how big and wide and open it is. I can wash out paintbrushes down here. I can do all kinds of stuff in this massive utility sink. I mean, it's huge. It's 35 inches wide, which I absolutely love. I could literally bathe my child in this sink. So I'm just loving the size of it. It is absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to start using it. But again, that's from Vintage Tub and Bath. So we love the way that white sink looks in this area. All of the gray paint that you see, that color is Revere Pewter by Benjamin Moore, but it's lightened by 50%. You can have your hardware store do that for you. Another area of our laundry room that I want to talk about is this beautiful drying rack that my husband made. I told you guys we had this issue of a gap between the counter and the wall, and we needed to hide it somehow. And I was looking at laundry images on Pinterest trying to get ideas, and I found these drying racks, and I said, Mike, what if you just built a drying rack for this area? And he did such an amazing job. Seriously, that man, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm just blown away by how he can look at something and just like create it. So looking back, we're thinking like, maybe we should have made it taller, and we can in the future, because I had a lot of people tell me on Instagram, some of those bottom racks, like what exactly can you hang on those? You could probably fold, like instead of using hangers on it, you could fold things over the actual rods, like shirts, blouses, skirts, and things like that. But eventually I want to hang something down here to where you can, dry like dresses or things that are longer. But whatever, for now it's so cute and adorable. It fits the space perfectly. I love how it looks there next to the sink, and it just turned out so cute. So I just wanted to talk about that for a moment. A lot of you mentioned moving like the laundry soaps and the clothespins over to the sink area, and I did end up doing that. I liked that tip, kind of keeping this area here separate from the sink area. As we move along over to the pine hutch that you see behind me, this beautiful pine hutch, you guys know I tried it in my dining room for a short time. I loved it there, but I felt like it competed with my table. It was 2 different wood tones that were sort of competing against each other. So I went back to the corner cabinet up here, but I still loved this piece and I wanted to use it somewhere, and it ended up fitting perfectly in this laundry space. I absolutely love it. I love the character it adds. It just turned out so beautiful. And if you want to learn more about how I stripped this piece, I have a whole blog post about it. I actually have a whole YouTube video about it too, but I kept this piece pretty similar, I would say, to the styling video. I don't think I changed much on the hutch. I didn't mean to rhyme there. I'm such a cheese ball today. Okay, but I did make some changes in this area here. We just ended up using 2 stock cabinets, I think is what they're called, from Home Depot. They were very affordable. We got 2 different sizes. We painted them the Revere pewter, and then we actually left 2 spaces open. And those spaces are potentially, the reason I didn't want to fill them with cabinets or shelves is because we could potentially put a mini fridge down here. If we have guests stay in our home and we have a bathroom down here, we thought it might be nice to have like a little kitchenette space here, potentially. Maybe a coffee pot, maybe a microwave. I am so thankful for our home and our kitchen, but that galley kitchen, when you've got 15 people over, it becomes tight quickly. So just having like extra countertop space down here, we can send the kids downstairs, set up snacks down here, whatever. Right now, we're just storing the cat litter in that far corner. But the fabric is so cute. So in my previous video, I had 2 fabrics I was playing with, but I ended up using this neutral gingham tablecloth that I actually found at Target. I'll have to link it for you guys. It's such a pretty fabric, and I just used like the hemming tape that you can iron on. I was in a hurry, and some tension rods, and I just cut the curtains and whipped them up really quick. I love the way the gingham looks. It's so cottagey. And one of the reasons I wanted to stick with a more neutral fabric was because I found this rug that was my grandfather's that I'd been storing. It's sort of colorful when you look at it close up. There's lots of blues, maybe even like a mauve color, some beige. But as you step away, it reads neutral. So that's why I chose this more neutral gingham. I feel like it goes well with my grandpa's rug. And I asked everyone over on Instagram in my stories what they thought of it. You guys loved it. I'm leaving it for now. Sometimes I'm still unsure about it. It's not something that I would pick out probably at a store, but it's the perfect size for this space, and it's pushing me a little bit to incorporate more color and more pattern. I tend to be a neutral girl, and so it's a little outside my comfort zone. Every time I come downstairs, I'm like, is that the right rug? But I don't know, it's special to me. It was my grandpa's. I did tweak the shelves, so we made these shelves with the little pegs. They're so cute. They're very similar to the ones in our dining room that I have a whole tutorial on my blog. I tweaked them a little bit. I just sort of stripped back and I kept pulling things away. I had too much down here to begin with, and I still might pull more away. I tend to be a very simple, minimal decorator, I think. I see these images that are so beautiful that people can pull off in their homes with just so much decor and so many knickknacks and so many frames and art on the wall, and it's so beautiful to me. But when I do that in my own home, it's like it doesn't vibe with me or something. Like I don't know, maybe I'm just a minimalist. I'm not sure. But I'm like, it feels too cluttered, and I start to take things away, and then I like it more. So I guess that's just how I am. But I did end up keeping the baskets in the windowsill. I just love the way those look. I don't know why. I like the way they're all like a little bit different, yet because they're woven, it's sort of the same. Over in the corner, I have a pretty galvanized bucket with some flowers here for now that they felt like spring to me. But that's pretty much it. Oh, the one thing you may have noticed, my husband added little feet to the cabinets, and I think this makes all the difference when you're buying stack cabinetry. You can really add so much character with something small like this. He just cut these little feet, the same with our kitchen upstairs. He just cut them out of the same wood that we use for our countertops and then nailed them in. We painted them. I came up with a design and he traced it, and it looks so cute. So I really like the way those came together. I also brought in a bench that was next to our garden outside. It was kind of, this is something I actually picked up. Some of my blogging friends came to visit, and we stopped at this tiny little antique shop, and I found it, and it's been out by my garden, and I do love it outside, but I don't think it's weatherproof, and it's been sort of falling apart. And so I brought it inside, and I kind of love it here. I feel like the kids come downstairs, they take off their boots, there's a little spot they can sit on, take their shoes off. I don't know, I think it's cute here. We do have things stored under the stairs, and you can see the panels are removable. We have little latches for them. I don't know, I feel like the bench looks cute here for now, so it's staying. Only other change I would say is my husband did end up adding those same wooden pegs to the 1x4 that kind of goes down the stairs. And for now, he was laughing at me, I just covered it in baskets. I think it looks so pretty, filled with baskets, my basket collection. Probably though, it will be covered with winter coats in the wintertime and beach towels in the summertime, and that's okay. That's what the pegs are there for. But for my blog and channel, they look so cute covered in baskets. So ideally, the closets, so there are 2 closets that we created down here when we were kind of deciding how we wanted to set this basement up and section it off. I said I want a storage closet, which I've organized with you guys before, you've seen it. And then the other closet is unfinished, it's just empty, but I want that to be for all of the like winter snow pants and winter coats and boots and all the things. So that'll be great to have once it's finished. Right now it's filled with tools. That's where my husband's been storing all of his tools and drills and all the things as he finishes this basement. So love the tile still at the bottom of the stairs, the herringbone pattern. Looks so beautiful. We have a baby gate up right now that we grabbed. It's so pretty though. It's one of the prettiest baby gates I've ever seen, but we just need it for Isaiah. When we're all down here, like watching a movie at night, it's just nice to close that gate so that he can't go up the stairs, and you know, he'll wander around during the movie sometimes. So it's nice to have that there. But let me know what you guys think of my basement space. There is like any space, I tell you guys this all the time, it's never truly finished, right? You're always going to be tweaking and changing things. And like for example, the light fixture that I have right now, right there, it's not my favorite. It's just like a cheap one that I grabbed. I'm still on the hunt for one. There's something that I thrifted that I thought would look so cool there, but we have to find the right parts for it. But yeah, so there's always going to be little things that we change along the way, but for the most part, I feel like it's done enough to show you guys. I'm ready for you guys to see it. I hope it gives you some inspiration, and I hope more importantly that it provides hope. If you have a scary basement like I did, there is hope. You can turn it into something beautiful. And I just remember that moment of feeling so overwhelmed when we started this project. I was so overwhelmed. This was 4 years ago. I sat at the top of these stairs and I just literally stared at the basement and I thought, where do we even begin? Like, where do we even start? It just felt so overwhelming, and all I can say is just one step at a time. I told you guys this in one of my videos, like little by little, inch by inch. By the yard it's hard, by the inch what a cinch. You can't stare up the stairs, you have to step up the steps. And that's how it is sometimes when you're on a budget and you can't hire someone to do it all right away, and you're doing it yourself in your spare time on nights and weekends. It's a long process and it can feel very overwhelming, like it'll never end. And it didn't end for us for 4 years, but it's finally finished. And I'm very thankful and I'm so excited. I'm still looking for a table too to put in this space. I would love like a drop leaf table, because it's kind of like a long space. Like it almost is like a little bit, I don't know, it's a little awkward. So I think having a table in this space, especially when we do get together and like the kids can all eat downstairs for Thanksgiving dinner or Easter here coming up, we're hosting Easter. So like having the kids eat down here would save so much room in my dining space. So I am looking for a table. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was an inspiration. And I want to thank Vintage Tub and Bath again for the beautiful sink that they sent. I highly recommend it. It's beautiful, sturdy. I love it. It's huge. So I'll have that linked for you guys as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.